Hey guys, really quick before we get to the video, I wanted to show you a way to support the channel if you want to. I still answer questions whenever I get emails, but if you would like consultation on anything bonsai related, you can help support the channel by buying a monthly limit-free consultation. It's here on my website, smalltreesfarm.com, if you're interested. Thanks. Good morning everybody, welcome back to Small Trees. Today is going to be probably just a single video. We're going to call this one making the most of what you got. So this is a tree that last year I dug, and it had a lot of roots that were growing straight down, and so I kind of undercut them and hoped that that would, you know, spread a little bit more horizontally out laterally. And you can see that we had a little bit of success. My root ball's flat, but these roots, they're starting to look okay. Maybe I should bring it a little closer for you. They're starting to look okay, but they're really still growing downward. Now I don't want to dig too far down because my object today is not to work the roots of this tree. What instead I'm going to do, and see, they're actually not bad. They've started to, here, let me do this. Wet them so you can see them, at least a little bit. They've started to actually come out laterally, which is actually nice, which is definitely an improvement over last year. We had a really big root that was way above the rest of them that was here, and I cut it off and it's almost completely healed, so that's nice. But then I just let the tree grow. I left it alone, forgot about it, and what I ended up with were a lot of these. You could call each one a leader, but they're all just coming up from the top. And so what I'm going to do with this tree is, this is a perfect opportunity to kind of play with it, and I'm going to show you how you can turn a tree like this, or at least get it started towards a broom style tree. And what we're going to do is take whichever side may be a better front. It's not, the nebari is not great on any side, but we can pick, for example, we can pick the side with the hollow, or we can pick the side opposite, one that's facing me right now. Either way, what we're going to do is I'm going to use Dremel. I'm going to use a cutting wheel. I'm going to use this little small removal bit, and I may even use this little sander, along with hand tools and maybe a wire brush. And we're going to notch a V into the trunk that will come down somewhere in here, and then we'll come up towards these that we've got on either side. And then what will happen is we'll let these grow. It really would be nice if we had a little more movement in them, but we'll let it grow for a little bit, and then we'll maybe make a couple of cuts. But we'll let these grow, and they'll callus over that V, and over the span of a year or two, that callus will heal, and it will look like this tree naturally split into multiple trunks, and it will make that broom style more believable. And of course, it would be ideal if there was even a third one here and we could make more than one notch, but there's not. So before I start, I'm just going to look and decide if I like the side you guys are seeing, or if I like this side. And I'm just gonna feel down with my finger a little bit and see if the root base would be decent on this side. It is better than what it used to be, but there's still roots that are emerging from, these are emerging from this level, and then as you can see, these, even though they're improving, they are down a pretty good bit from these, and it would make a planting angle to be able to see these roots would be really difficult to not also show that these are emerging a lot higher. And there's a gap. If I stick my finger through here, there's a hole there for sure. Over time that may heal and it may fill, and then it will be nicer, but right now it's not. So I'm gonna proceed with the hollow as the front, and I'm just going to use my Dremel, and we're going to start notching a V into the trunk. So we're going to come down roughly from, you know, right in here is a start, excuse me, and from right in here is a start, and we'll come down to about right here. I'll also probably take this branch, which right now isn't doing a whole lot. What it is doing is creating a little bit of reverse taper, but if I can just cut it back, I'll probably cut back up here above this node, but I'm gonna try to use one of these little buds here as a side branch. A broom style doesn't have to just be up here. It can have, you know, something that's a little off standard, because that's how trees work, you know. So I may use that as a way to get a little bit of a little more interest here, especially since I've only got a couple of branches here to use. So let's go ahead and get started. I've got to be really careful with this, because this will it rotates this way, and it will want to skip up and hit something. So I'm gonna have to be real slow with it. And like I said, I really just wanted to make one video on this, so I may just speed this up. I've got a lot of work to do today that is not tree related. So let's get started. And I can already tell before I get too far into this bit is pretty dull. I've used it a lot, so I'm gonna swap it. I should have another one right here somewhere. I have an easy lock somewhere, one that you can just pop these off and on, but I don't know where it is. It really would come in handy though, especially with stuff like this. I tend to buy those sorts of things and then I just immediately lose them, and I don't know how I managed to do it, because they come with cases, and I have no idea where this stuff goes. But anyway, let's try this with a new bit. So this is going to be the line that we're going to use. I guess you're not straight on, so you can't quite see it. We're going to go roughly here. We're not going to make it a very sharp point down here. We're going to leave it a little rounded, because it wouldn't really have a pointed V so much. The callus will help smooth that out anyway over time, but we're still not going to make it super pointed. And I'm going to have to get creative in how I do this. I don't want to get rid of any of these branches just yet, so I'm trying to not hit them if I can avoid it. But that's making it hard to get these angles. Alright, I'll tell you what, I'm definitely going to speed this up, because I already can tell this is going to take a little while to get it just right. So cue music and just sit back and watch for a little bit. Okay, to finish this up, now we got the little channel, and you can almost see through. It's pretty much the bottom of what I want this notch to be. All right, now done. So let's back out and look. What we've done is created a taper that, as the tree grows this year, both of these sides will callus and roll over into here, and you will eventually have what looks to be a natural splitting of the trunk. And you could even bring this down a little bit further. Really, it might be better if it were down a little bit further, but I don't want to go too far this time. So this is where I'm going to leave it. We're just going to cover it with some paste real quick. We'll start at the top. This has been an episode of making the most with what you've got. We'll let this grow for a year or two. We'll let that heal over, and hopefully we will have a believable start to a broom style tree here the next year or two. See you next time.